Major stories tonight. President Buhari engages APC governors ahead of party's primary depart for Spain. Court grants Roche's Okorocha bail. Plus, 2 feared dead in an accident along Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Good evening and thank you for joining us on NTA Abeokuta Channel 12 News. My name is Anyala Balogun. Now the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari has left Abuja for Madrid, Spain on a state visit at the invitation of the Spanish President Pedro Sanchez. President Buhari was seen off at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport by his Chief of Staff, Minister of the FCT, Inspector General of Police, Director General, Department of State Services, and other senior government officials. State House correspondent Damu Samba reports that during the visit, his first since coming to power, the Nigerian leader will also hold a meeting with the head of state of the Spanish nation, His Majesty King Felipe VI. Discussion with both leaders will center on issues of mutual interest to both countries, which will expectedly result in the signing of agreements and memoranda of understanding on a wide range of topics geared towards further enhancing the bilateral relations between the two nations. Such areas include extradition and transfer of convicted persons, mutual legal assistance, cultural matters, cooperation towards fighting crime and enhancing security, as well as issues affecting independence of diplomatic staff. Also on the agenda are cooperation on energy, trade and investment, transportation, public health, and sports development. The President will also be the special guest at an investment forum jointly organized by the Spanish Chamber of Commerce, Nigeria's Ministry of Trade, and Confederation of Employers. He will also be speaking on the investment opportunities in Nigeria and ways of expanding the volume of trade, as well as further collaborating for the development of the economies of both countries. Governors of the All Progressives Congress have been charged to ensure that the forthcoming National Convention to pick a presidential candidate reflects all the values and virtues of the governing party. President Muhammadu Buhari, who threw the challenge at a crucial meeting with the governors, insists that the positive qualities of the APC must come to play at the convention. State House correspondent Damu Sambo reports that all the 22 progressive governors, except that of Kaduna, represented by his deputy and the national chairman of the party, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, attended the meeting. The president, who noted that the most successful political parties globally always relied on their internal cohesion and a strong leadership brand to achieve bigger electoral fortunes, said the APC shall not be any different. He said even as the governing party continues to implement the blueprint for a more prosperous nation, it is a compelling necessity on his part to provide stronger leadership to the party towards guaranteeing an orderly transition process. President Buhari promised to ensure that the APC remains strong, united and formidable to not only retain power at the center, but also hold the great majority in various legislative chambers, as well as gain additional number of states. The President appealed to all the governors to, amongst others, allow their interests to converge, remain focused on the changing dynamics of the environment, the expectations of Nigerians and the global community. He said their overall objective must be the victory of the governing party, and therefore the choice of candidate must be someone who will give the Nigerian masses a sense of victory and confidence even before the elections. The chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum, Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State, said the party must build on the successes of its recent elective convention and the primaries conducted so far, and come up with a candidate who will walk in the footsteps of a patriotism and love for the country. He pledged that the APC governors will support the president to have a very successful convention next week. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo appeared before the All Progressives Congress Screening Committee this Tuesday for screening ahead of the June 6th presidential primary and insisting the party is well ahead of other political parties. State House correspondent Chidi Odifade reports.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo arrived at the Transcorp Hilton Hotel venue of the screening few minutes after 1 in the afternoon into the waiting hands of his teaming supporters. The screening was done behind closed doors, and the Vice President spent over an hour with the screening committee.
Able to discuss several issues of national and party concerns, and I went very well indeed. We had a very good chat.
The screening of the presidential aspirants started yesterday with 12 out of the 23 aspirants screened. Some others, including the vice president, also presented their credentials this Tuesday for screening ahead of the party's June 6th presidential primary election.
Flower of love for Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. And wherever you turn, you see your supporters that just everywhere here. And all they are saying is that Yemi Osinbajo is just the right man for the job come 2023. In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has granted bail to former governor of Imo State, Rochas Okorocha, to the tune of 50 million naira and a surety in like sum. Justice Inyang Eko gave the order while delivering a ruling on the bail applications of the defendants in the matter. Dele Atombi reports.
Rochas Okorocha, Anyim Yerere, and 5 others are the defendants in the 3.1 billion naira alleged fraud preferred against them by the EFCC. Okorocha and 6 others are facing trial on 17-count charge bordering on conspiracy, stealing, and conversion of public funds and money laundering. After due consideration of the arguments and counter-arguments by the counsel to both defendants and the prosecution on the bail applications of the defendants, the court granted them bail. Apart from Okorocha providing a surety to the sum of 500 million naira, Okorocha is equally expected to deposit his traveling documents with the registry of the court. During the trial, the defendant cannot travel out of Nigeria without due notice and approval of the court. The court ordered that Okorocha's surety must have a property in Abuja not below 500 million naira, and the original title documents of the property must be deposited with the court registrar. Justice Inyang Eko also ordered that immigration must be alerted in writing by the court registrar that Okorocha's traveling passport is with the court and as such must not be allowed to move out of the country. The court also granted bail to the second defendant in the matter, Anyim Yerere, on the terms of the administrative bail granted him by the EFCC.
The client is a notable serving senator, so the idea of running away is ruled out. He will fulfill the condition. He has never run away. Only that, like I said yesterday, he was never properly served.
The court was of the view that the second defendant has never defaulted in the administrative bail granted to him, and throughout the proceedings of this case, he has never absented himself.
Justice Eko finally ordered that Okorocha should remain in the custody of the FCC until the bail conditions are met. The case had been adjourned to November 2022 for commencement of trial. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Cross River State government has debunked reports of active cases of monkeypox in the state. The Director General, Cross River State Primary Health Care Development Agency, Dr. Janet Ekpeyong, made the clarification while reacting to the latest report by Nigeria's Center for Disease Control of 21 cases of the virus in a country, with Cross River State recording 2 cases. Maureen Lear Ajom reports.
Nigeria Center for Disease Control latest update on confirmed cases of monkeypox and listed Cross River State as recording 2 cases among the 21 cases of monkeypox recorded in the country. Curious to ascertain the status of the disease in the state, the Cross River State Primary Healthcare Development Agency says there is currently no case of monkeypox in the state.
Currently in Cross River State, we do not have any positive case or active case of monkeypox. However, we know that monkeypox is already in a lot of countries currently, and of course some other states in Nigeria had also recorded cases of monkeypox, but we are not also waiting until we begin to record positive cases. We have already commenced sensitization across the states to ensure that our people are aware and of course can act proactively in beginning to implement some of those measures, or be very conscious of things doing all those things that will help them prevent not just monkeypox but any other common diseases that we have in the environment.
The Director General of the agency, however, disclosed that 2 cases were detected in February and were properly managed by the state government. Reiterating that there was no active case of monkeypox in any part of the state, she notes that there is a well-constituted health awareness and sensitization team on ground, while the state government is ready to dictate and manage any related cases. She, however, enjoined residents to take necessary precautionary measures to ensure a pandemic-free state. In Calabar, Maureen Leo Ajom, NTA News.
The federal government is set to put a total ban on the export of raw hides and skin, including leather. This, the government says, will also ban the importation of finished leather products. This came to fore as the Minister of Agriculture, Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar, meets with the National Steering Committee on Strategic Implementation of Leather Policy in Abuja. Musa Babaliu reports.
These locally produced pairs of shoes introduced to the Minister of Agriculture, Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar. He rated it as among the best in the world.
Real leather, you can see that. There's nothing Nigeria cannot do, nothing.
And this is why government is pushing to implement 2 major policies. First is to restrict importation of finished leather products, and the second one is to ban export of raw hides and skin. Professor Muhammad Kabiru Yakubu is the chairman, National Steering Committee of Implementation Plan on Leather. He is here to brief the minister on how Nigerian leather industry will prosper if the 2 policies are implemented.
We want to ensure that we stop the exportation of anything leather from Nigeria, even fully finished leather. We want a situation whereby we only export products from leather. Just the last quarter of last year, when we started implementing this policy, Nigeria netted about $650 million.
As important as leather industry is to our national economy, it has been bedeviled with challenges leading to a declining contribution to the national GDP. Consequently, a steering committee comprising the relevant stakeholders from different ministries, departments, and agencies was set up and developed a strategic implementation plan that was launched on the 6th of July 2021.
The current market analysis of the global leather market is put at $394 billion, and Nigeria is hoping to scoop at least $1 billion from it. Musa Ali, NTA News.
This is the news at 7 on NTA Abeokuta Channel 12. More news after this time out. Please stay. Welcome back. And our business news. Banks tighten forex access as reserves hit 7-month low. Details in our business news segment with Yemi Dalemo.
Total shortfall in the Nigerian power sector has reached 1.6 trillion naira in 8 years, findings have shown. The Executive Director, Research and Advocacy, Association of Nigerian Electricity Distributors, Sunday Oduton, revealed this to journalists in Abuja. According to him, the shortfall was recorded in the 4th quarter of last year. A shortfall arises whenever electricity distribution companies and generation companies, otherwise called DISCOs and GENCOs, are not able to recoup an investment made from projects. The Nigerian Customs Service and a consortium, Trade Modernization Project Limited, have signed a concession agreement worth $3.2 billion to digitize operations of the Border Security and Revenue Collection outfit. This is just as the federal government expects to generate over $176 billion from the deal. That's it on Business News. It's over to you, studio.
Thank you, Yemi. 2 persons have been found dead, while another person sustained injury in an accident which occurred at the Ogere section of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The accident, according to the Ogun State Traffic Compliance and Enforcement Corps, TRACE, involved a Mack gas tanker and DAF truck. Eyewitness accounts explained that an articulated DAF truck developed a mechanical problem while on motion, and in an attempt to resolve the tire problem, a gas tanker which was coming behind ran into it after losing control of the vehicle due to overspeeding. The motorboy and a manager on board the gas tanker was said to have lost their lives, while the driver of the gas tanker escaped with minor injury. The corpses of the dead victims have been deposited at a morgue in Ipararemo, while the injured was taken to the hospital for medical attention. Trace, while commiserating with the family of deceased, warned drivers of articulated vehicles to minimize their speed in view of its attendant consequences. In the arena, Olumide Eguntala is a guide on sports update.
Eagles of Nigeria have, following their arrival in New Jersey from Dallas on Sunday, 3-time African champions Super Eagles of Nigeria have stepped up preparations for their friendly match with Ecuador slated for Thursday evening, as well as next month AFCON 2023 qualifying matches against Sierra Leone and Mauritius. The focus of the training sessions was on close control, space management, and clinical finishing.
We always want to give our best, even in friendly and in competitions. And right now we're just ready. We'll just focus on the game against Ecuador to make sure we come out with a good one.
In another news, women football development in Nigeria is receiving the support of Turkana Energy for discovering and nurturing budding talent. This assurance emanated from the visit of the chairperson of female football in Nigeria, Aisha Falode, to the office of the oil and gas outfit.
Expanding the games and making sure more competitions for our young women is central.
We give good recognition to the female footballers. You are right. Gender balance is to us.
And in swimming, Nigeria has qualified for the World Aquatics Championships slated for June in Budapest, Hungary. 3 swimmers from the Nigerian Police Force, IGP swimmers, represented the country in the Zone 2 Championship in Senegal, which serve as qualifying slots for African nations. The victorious swimmers were received at the Lagos airport by the caretaker chairman of the Police Swimming Association, ACP Bello Shohaibu. In badminton, it was a landslide victory for the badminton section of Ikoyi Club 1938. At the 2022 quadrangular game, the pair of Sabo and Ayo of Ikoyi Club defeated their counterparts Yinka and Abdul from Kwara State 2-1 in the keenly contested Group A doubles final, among other results.
We practice here every day, so we mastered the place and we won the game. It shows that we're number one and we will remain number one in the game of badminton in Nigeria.
Winners in all categories smiled home with trophies and gift items. With sports updates, Olumide Eguntala, NTA News.
And that wraps up Channel 12 News. I'm Ayola Balogo. Good evening.